We've traveled out to New York this week and gone all around the city to document the Golden Eagles' impressive run in the 2010 Big East Tournament. We've talked to all the best experts in college basketball, including Bilas and Fran Fraschilla, to get you geared up for the NCAA Tournament. We're with the team in New York here at ESPNZone. This is David Kubian.
And this is Marquette Basketball Weekly.
I think the rest of us can act like we're surprised. I don't think the players in the Marquette locker room are surprised.
Hello, friends. Brad Galli here in Madison Square Garden in New York City. We've got a jam-packed episode of Marquette Basketball Weekly coming your way. The Golden Eagles advance to the semifinals of the Big East Tournament. We're going to dissect that, but before we do, let's take a look at where they're headed this week in the NCAA Tournament.
The 6th seed Golden Eagles.
You heard it there. Marquette is the 6th seed out of the East region and will take on the 11th seeded Washington Huskies. After winning 11 of their last 14 games, the Golden Eagles impressed the committee and will play in San Jose this Thursday as a 6th seed. You've seen the Golden Eagles seeding now in the NCAA Tournament. We'll bring you a report later in the show from the Annex and hear what the players think about that seeding. Joining me now here at Madison Square Garden to discuss the Big East Tournament is WMUR Sports Director Michael Watching. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Not a problem, Bradley.
Now, looking at these games that the Golden Eagles were able to capture, I think they really turned a lot of heads in this tournament. You really noticed, I think, what everyone's noticed, and this team just continues to succeed in close games.
Well, besides the Georgetown game when they got blown out, they had been so close in every game, never losing a game by more than double digits. They played so well. St. John's came all the way back from the halftime deficit, was able to bring it back. Villanova game, Marquette was up 8. Villanova had 3 turnovers in a row that brought them back to tie the ball game.
And Michael, looking at that Villanova game, that's something you were really impressed with, the fact that they were able to get ready for that in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, having only about 22 hours to get ready for one of the best teams in the country. Come tournament time, you'll get about 36 hours, something along those lines, to get prepared for all these really, really good teams. They were able to get prepared in the second half. They looked like a completely different team as they led by as much as 8, and they were able to close it down.
All right, Michael, thanks so much for joining us here. Catch all WMUR's broadcast on marquetteradio.mu.edu. And now coming up, we've got great quotes from you from Bilas and Fran Fraschilla as they spoke to us about Marquette's chances going forward.
This team was picked 12th in the preseason Big East. How has Buzz Williams been able to get his team to play hard every night?
Well, I think he's got a great relationship with those guys. You know, he's a very intense guy, as you guys know, but he's got a humanity about him that I think the players understand he really cares about them. And when players know a coach cares about them, they'll give you everything that they have. And this team plays as hard, in my opinion, as any team in college basketball.
I think what he's done is he's got a system, and the players believe in it, and they work every day in practice. They keep it simple, and they've got a belief set. And what he's been selling, the players have been buying. And they may be small, but those guys are tough.
Do you feel like this team is a dangerous team come tourney time since they can live and die by the 3?
Well, I think not only that they live and die with the 3, but they live and die with attacking the paint off the dribble and can get into the lane, and they play so hard. In fact, they play as hard on offense as they do on defense. So, you know, they're not the most talented team that's going to be in the NCAA tournament, but I think they can hang their hat on the fact that they play so hard.
Size is important in basketball. You can cover it up and make up for it with great speed. And I think the one thing that I love watching about Marquette is their ball movement is great. You know, ball movement, player movement is spectacular. But you know, the size thing is an issue. I think if you ask Buzz, he'd rather have some bigger players. But they're winning with what they've got, and they're doing a heck of a job with it.
Marquette just competed in the Big East Tournament at Madison Square Garden, a stage all college seniors would love to get to one day and play professionally. Now, 2 current Marquette Golden Eagles just got postseason awards that added to their resume to get them to that level.
I'm proud of them. You know, they both worked real hard this year, you know, in the past years to come to this point. Lazar, 4 years. Jimmy, this his second year, you know, had a good year this year. You know, I'm proud of them.
Buzz texted me the day that it came out, but I had got so many text messages that I didn't really, like, look at it. I just text back, yes, sir. And then Lazar texted me and told me about it, and then this morning DJ texted me, and I was just like, oh. really didn't notice, but I was so happy. You know, it's a great accomplishment. You know, I don't like, you know, my own accolades, but of course they come, you know, with playing, and you know, it's just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to be on that team. I was glad for Zar for his second team. I mean, he really deserved it. And Jimmy got honorable mention. And I thought DJ would have gotten something, but I'm sure next year he'll probably get something. I mean, it wouldn't be possible without, you know, the 12, 13 guys that I have around me, because, you know, they make me better, and I hope I make them better at the same time. So, you know, maybe next season or maybe in this postseason somebody will get a title, something like that.
Monday night in New York, Buzz Williams let his team enjoy an evening off at the ESPNZone arcade. The 37-year-old leader of Marquette has a grasp for relating to his players. I had a chance to talk to him as the regular season ended and the real fun begins. Take a night off like this to kind of take your mind off basketball. Is that something you wanted to do with the guys?
No doubt. It's really healthy for them. They're having a great time. We did it last year, and I was telling our guys a while ago when we were upstairs when we were eating, I said, guys, isn't this great? We get to watch everybody else play and sweat and work. Then we get to go play some Fantasyland games. They're having a good time. It's healthy for them.
They like to compete out here. They were telling me even more so even on the basketball court. They're explaining the video games. Is that cool to see?
Yeah, I tell them all the time, just find any game out here that you can beat me in, and let's play, because that's why they're as good as they are, because they love to compete.
To see them in this light, a lot of the new guys adjusting to New York. Is that something kind of cool for you to step back and see the new guys?
I think anytime, particularly with new guys that haven't experienced anything like this, if you can get them here and let them see a little bit, let them relax, let them get a couple of nights in the hotel before we actually have to play, I think it's good for them internally, because I think it slows them down a little bit. I think they're better able to absorb a scouting report when it's time for us to do that. They're better in practice, because it's not one big rush deal. We'll do study hall in the morning, we'll have breakfast in the morning, and then we'll get back on a routine. But as hard as these guys work, Brad, for them to have 15, 16 hours of just being a normal 20, 22-year-old kid, that's like manna from heaven for these guys.
Well, let me ask you a question. I know we talk all the time, you and I, about character and building everything, but to take a distant look back and to look at 2 years ago when you got this job, a lot of people said you could recruit. You weren't a very good X's and O's guy. You've kind of set a precedent here. I mean, looking at this team and everything like that, 5th seed in the Big East tournament going into this, have you kind of looked back and with this with a smile and just said, you know, with these guys?
I've really enjoyed being around these guys. I've always felt blessed to do what I do. I'm not sure that I'd be talented enough to do anything else, but I think being around these guys has been one of the more rewarding experiences that I've ever been a part of. And I don't know that I've had time to really look back at it. Everybody was entitled to say what they said when I got the job. Yeah. Who is Buzz? Can he recruit? Can he handle it at this level? Can he coach? Those are all valid points. And at some point in time, everybody has to go through that in their career. I mean this in the right way. I'm not concerned about those people that would say those things. I want to work for the Lord, not for man. And I think that anytime you're building relationships with guys, it's a lot deeper than X's and O's. And the only way that you can have those experiences in hopes to execute X's and O's is to do these kinds of things. And what nobody sees is the time that we spend together off the court. That's what makes it so special on the court. And to an extent, that's what allows me to coach them the way that I do. I'm really hard on them. When we're in the aisle, I'm after them a little bit. But that's because we've built such a good relationship off the floor that it allows me to do those things. And I feel very blessed to be a part of it. And I want it to last as long as it can, because it's hard to quantify the chemistry of this group, the chemistry of who they are as people off the floor, and the chemistry of who they are on the floor. Even when we watch college games, Brad, they're saying the same words I say to them in practice.
I heard it.
That was a bad shot. No, you shouldn't have done that. Those are things that you can't put a price on those things, and it's because we do the same thing over and over. So it's been a great, humbling experience for me.
After traveling around the city here in New York, we stopped by a tavern by Yankee Stadium where the bartender in a heavy New York accent told us, hey, that Buzz Williams guy you got up in Marquette, he's a real winner. It's taken 2 years, but the nation's finally taken note of what Marquette already knows. Buzz Williams is a quality dude and a quality coach. Coming up after the break, we've got a great piece from Sunday at the Selection Show at the Annex where the players react to where they're headed next week. That's all ahead on Marquette Basketball Weekly.
What's up, everybody? This is Darius Johnson, and you're watching MUTV.